Huh. Hey, it's your boy, Daigle. Here, coming at you with another sexy think piece here. Just you and me in my room. And we're going to talk about some stuff today. Today I'm going to talk about the prison system in the United States and sentencing. Mostly the death penalty. So I don't know. What happened to the death penalty? I know that there's been a push to remove it in many states, which I think is straight, because there are certainly crimes so egregious that they're, you know, worthy of the death of the perpetrator. And I think that yeah, those requirements aren't that hard to meet, in my opinion. I mean, obviously, you know, it's the actual act, but you know, horrible shit happens all the time. My personal list, I think number one would be, I would go straight eye for an eye with murder, but if it's just a simple, like, ooga booga, primal ultra instinct, like, reactionary, just massive monkey brain chimp out explosion of violence, and you know, and you could prove that, I guess that would just be the difference between premeditated and I don't know if there's a fancy word for it, like spur of the moment murders. I guess that's a little different, and I could understand life imprisonment, I guess, with the possibility of parole. But if you kill more than one person under, like, any conditions, I think that you should, you know, be executed. I think that you could argue that, you know, spending life in prison would be a greater punishment than simply death, just because, you know, you're confined. But I mean, I've been to a prison, not like as a convict, but on a field trip, and I've seen plenty of documentaries, and it seems like there's a bit of an ecosystem in American prisons, at least, and I'm sure most other prisons across the first world, where, you know, there's some interaction going on between the inmates, and there's, you know, you got that nice toilet wine and some potlucks, maybe people are gambling with their supplies. I'm pretty sure I saw a man with a television in his cell, and maybe a few movies. So, you know, you're still existing, I guess. You're separated from society, you're no longer a danger to society, that's great. But, you know, I think that's too good for some people. If I honestly had it my way with some crimes that are so horribly bad, you know, I think it would be justified to keep someone alive and, you know, torture them every day for the rest of their life. That'd be pretty hot. And I know that sounds edgy, but, like, I don't know, if someone killed a family member of yours, you'd probably want that. Fuck, what was I getting to? Oh yeah, and the manner in which the death cancer in my dick. The manner in which the death sentence is carried out, I think, is a soft core. It's just a lethal injection. I'm pretty sure it's the standard now, and you know, it's just a very, what the fuck is that? It's a very I think it's a painless death. I'm not really sure what the drug does, or I don't know what's inside of it, but I'm pretty sure it's very quick, and you know, I don't know if it's completely painless, but I'm sure it's less painful than, like, you know, getting your head chopped off. Well, maybe not, arguably. The electric chair is pretty spooky. Fry him. That's pretty. I bet that hurt. I bet that was scary. I bet that was pretty spooky. The electric chair was badass. But fucking, I don't know about that. I think Yeah, lethal injection seems a little light, seems a little too good for some people. And when people get the death penalty, they're on death row for like fucking 25 years. They get to, most of them, they just, I'm trying to think, I wonder what like the earliest, if someone went like ba-bam, 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 straight to the fry. But I think it's because they're allowed to appeal it and stuff. But it's like, I don't understand what there is to appeal, because like, did you not have a court hearing in a case and, you know, not go through due process? Like, I'm pretty sure you did, and you were sentenced to death. Like, what's there to think about? Just kill him, just take him out back of the courtroom and just right between the eyes, just shoot him out there. It's nice and easy. It would save a lot of resources and time. I think that, you know, we should set the standard. Mass shooters, obviously, just execute them on the spot. As soon as the cops show up to say, hey son, did you do this? And if they say yes, just shoot them in the face. It's really easy. But like I said, that might be too good for some people. The prison system in general is pretty flawed, in my opinion. Excuse me. They need to... I guess they have, like, prisoners, like, clean up on the highway and stuff. I've seen that. That's, like, a stereotype. I don't know if they do any other social functions, and I'm sure it's, like, low-risk inmates that had, like, fraud crimes or some non-violent crime. I'm sure the only ones that are permitted to do work outside of the prison. But I think we gotta give them... For horrible offenders, like pedophiles that were, you know, convicted of sexual acts with minors. I think that's kind of a sliding scale thing, though. I think, you know, like the younger the kid, like, the more fucked up the crime. I'm pretty sure it's pretty flat. I'm sure that you could, you know, make a better pitch if the child was younger than if they were, like, you know, 16. But, you know, because that's just, you know, just guaranteeing someone a garbage life. Wow, that spooked me. I think pedophiles, it's safe to say, for me at least, depending on the severity of their crimes, which I don't think would take much. Like, if you rape a child, you should be executed. It's pretty easy. There's not much to think about there. You've effectively ruined that child's life. I mean, I'm sure that there's plenty of people that have gone on, you know, after such an experience, and, you know, even lived great lives, I'm sure. But, that act is just so vile and just horrible that I would personally say it's worthy of death. So far we've got, mass murderers, child rapists, people that voted for Bernie Sanders, and art school graduates is where I'm at right now. That seems like a pretty solid list. I'm sure there's some people I'm forgetting, but my proposition for the prisons, I can't think of any good projects. We gotta like, I think that, you know, if you want to take the life imprisonment for serious crimes, I think that, you know, we should be enslaving them, like, you know, breaking the rocks, but like, I don't know, maybe have like some Jewish inmates fill out tax forms for free. That sounds really good. We could get a nice program going. They could build up like credits, and then eventually they could, what do Jewish people like to do? I don't know, they could throw like a big Jewish party in the prison with all the Jews. That would be nice. Black people, treadmill, easy. Keep the lights on the prison, save costs. You know, maybe after they've, you know, powered enough electricity collectively, they could watch like a Philadelphia Eagles game. That sounds nice. I don't know, ultimately prison doesn't seem that bad. I went on like a school prison trip when I was in school because I was the naughty kid, and I got to eat their food, my man, and their food is better than public school food. Like, it's like someone took some Costco gas station food and like dunked it in a toilet several times and then like let it dry for a couple weeks and then dunked it in another toilet that had the shit of someone that had eaten Costco food in the toilet, and then, you know, so on and so forth. It was really, public school food is fucking disgusting. I can't imagine the calorie content. I just don't think it's there. Like the pizza was like, I don't know. It looked like a fucking like a military ration or something. It was ridiculous. But and I'm sure it tasted worse than one. But yeah. I mean, it is public school. It is free, but it's also necessary. I think, is it illegal to not go to school in the States? Like if you don't put, because obviously your child can't make that decision. Let me get a quick look in here. Is it illegal to not put your kid in school? Is it a crime to not send your children to school? Foster education. That seems like a very complicated and long explanation that I don't want to deal with. Also, while we're on the topic of crime, let me look this up. I need some hard facts on this one here. Under modern U.S. law, suicide is no longer a crime. Some states, however, classify attempted suicide as a criminal act, but prosecutions are rare, especially when the offender is terminally ill. What? That's a little interesting right there. If you're what the fuck? If you're terminally ill and like reach over and pull the plug on yourself here, they can prosecute you for attempting suicide. That's really weird. I wonder what the sentencing is for that. You have to do community service. Did you like make a big mess and someone had to clean it up? Like if I attempted suicide and I like got blood everywhere or something, I'd clean it up. It's my mess. I like to clean up my messes. But also, people that go light on juvenile and sentencing of women is a big issue for me, because if we're such an equal society, I don't know, man. I could go on about the differences and the advantages and disadvantages of being a man or a woman. You know, it's not even because we're not the same creature, and you know they get lighter sentencing. They're way more likely to win custody battles in the courtroom because more women. And you know, I don't necessarily have a problem with that, because generally, you know, women are better at taking care of kids. But there's a lot of cases that I personally have seen where the father was kind of a piece of shit too, but he was much more stable and also had a job and could provide for the kids. Or you could hand them over to the mother, and my taxes can go towards those children. Not bad. Government programs are great. I think that the more we would work toward eliminating those options for single mothers, the less likely maybe people would think. Put a little roll out the rubber a little more, you know what I mean? But I don't know. Fuck, I'm tired. In conclusion, to round everything up here and kind of tie it up, the death penalty needs to be more painful. It needs to be faster. The process is too fucking slow. They've already had their court case. Why do they get to? Why is it necessary that they appeal it? Why is there going to be? I can understand having a grace period where, I guess at most of 1 year, where you're waiting for new evidence. But unless they like have some kind of ace in the hole, Fuck, I was trying to wrap it up. Okay, death penalty. More painful. Prison life needs to be less fun. There needs to be more beatings, and we need to do something important while they're there that helps the society that they damaged. And pedophiles should be put to death. Child rapists put to death. People that write articles for Buzzfeed put to death. I guess that's all my thoughts on that. Thanks for listening.